Hi, Julie here again. Today what I'm going to do is I've got this old canvas which is just on a board here, and it's actually a bit water damaged and stained, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over the top. So what I have got is some paints. So I've got black, white, and this one's like a Prussian blue, I think, just to give it a little bit. Some brushes. I've also got some sponges. These are just generic ones. These aren't real sponges. They're just whatever. Couple of bucks from the hardware store, but I thought they would work fine for what I am doing. I've also got a spray bottle, and I've got a jar of water to put my paint in, and I've got, this is just an old milk carton. These are really great because they're waxed, so you can wipe them off and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this with like a mid-grey to start with. So I'm just going to mix some black and white together, and yeah, and I'll give it a coat of paint to start with, and we will take it from there. Okay, so that's my canvas painted. As you saw, it was pretty rough and ready. I just slapped it on. And the fact that none of my greys, because I had to mix up a couple of batches of grey, and none of them are perfectly matched, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, because at the end of the day, when I'm just fixing up a couple of little spots, but at the end of the day, when I sponge on my greys, my blacks, and my whites, and all the rest of it, it's going to be a real hodgepodge anyway. So having different greys underneath in the background, and even maybe some of the canvas showing through, is not going to be a problem. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint it with my sponge after this. Okay, so my canvas is dried and I'm back, and I have got some grey, some black, and some white on my milk carton palette, and I've got my sponge, and what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to start with an area and sponge it on. And I'm just going to work my way through. Just take your time. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to dry. It's a little bit blotchy at the moment, but I'm sure once it dries, it'll even out a little bit. It's also a bit darker than I originally intended on going, but I kind of like it. So I've just sort of been fiddling. Just try and make it so that your sponge marks aren't too perfect. You want them to be sort of more haphazard. You don't want it to look like there's a pattern there. So just try and keep it, yeah, sort of a little bit haphazard as you can. So that's it for the moment. I will wait for this to dry, and then I'll come back and take some photos and let's see how it looks. Hi, so I was playing out in the studio and I was using my grey background. This is it here. So I have it pulled a little bit back from my scene, and I was taking some shots, and it's some lovely moody shots in here. I've taken this at 2.8, so I've got the scales and the hydrangea in focus, the background obviously in blur, and I've even lost a little bit of the focus on the string and that's cool. I'm happy with that. So just playing around with different shots. I had some different hydrangeas. I've got some dried blue and purple ones there. Then I was playing on a different table with the same backdrop, so that's just a grey one, just painted, and that I painted, and it's just propped up in the background there. It's probably a little bit too close. So here, so it's lovely and blur, and it gives that really sort of mottled background. And like I said, it is a bit darker than I was expecting it to be, but it's not really bothering me. I am picking up just the magenta in that table there, so I'll just fix that up. And this is the same grey backdrop, obviously shooting with my macro lens here at f2.8 and focusing on the dried hydrangea blossoms there, and that's given me almost like a slight bokeh sort of thing in the background, so that was really quite nice. And I did another little scene, so this just gives a lovely mottled, this is in natural light, just gives a lovely mottled sort of colour in the background. Everything's quite faded off into blur. I had some spring blooms that I brought in, and I have the grey in the background there as well. There's a few here, I haven't even edited these. So I've still got that same grey on the table. And I was just catching some shots with the these lovely spring blooms. So yeah, so I was really happy with how the grey worked out. Obviously it's much smaller than some of my larger canvas, so I have to work within the shot, but that's fine. It gave me a really cool backdrop. The other thing I really like about this is when I get bored of it or I get sick of it, I can paint over it. I can do different colors, different effects, different whatever. I can even just paint it plain white or black if I wish to. So that's it for making your own background. Have a go, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.